What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Join alongside Jacob in Wisconsin. We got Emilio, who's just absolutely unhinged this evening. He's in Tennessee. And, how are we doing tonight, gentlemen?
I was sleeping earlier, but
there it is.
Shocker.
It was a good day. Got caught up on some stuff. Got around to the maintenance properties, right, Clayton, and actually got some bushes trimmed that I've been putting off for months now.
Absolutely, man. Hey, this is the time of year to get that side work in, right?
See?
So, Jacob, how was your day, bub?
It was good. I had to work up until about 10 minutes ago, but hey, I'm here now. I'm wearing my cool shirt. I got to listen to Emilio's BS pre-stream, so, I'm ready to go.
Emilio's got the best pregame speeches. I'll just say that.
He missed it, dude. I was in here for like 20 minutes, Jim.
I came up the steps to grab me a drink, and as I'm walking up the stairs of the studio, all I hear is Little Bitty by Alan Jackson playing. It was blasting. I was like, all right, Emilio's on tonight.
Wait, Little Bit. It's all right to be Little Bitty. All right. I hadn't heard that in a minute, dude. I'm not
little hometown on a big old city. You know what I'm saying?
Jeez. Look at Eric. Clayton, Emilio, and Jacob is really, dude. Stay off the damn weed, Eric.
That's right, sir. Everyone, please put the pipe down. Okay, put it down. But anyway, we got some pretty cool topics here. I was going to try to get to last night, but man, the Jordan Love conversation it got a whole life of its own. And there's going to be a little Jordan Love talk here on the front side of this pod, but we're going to try to muscle through that and get to some of the other stuff as well. But before we do, let's just give a quick shout out to our sponsors tonight. And that's good folks over at Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. Wisconsin-based since 1992, they specialize in Packers tickets, Wisconsin's largest ticket source with offices next to Lambeau Field and in Milwaukee. You can click on the link in the video description here that'll send you to theticketking.com where you can register for free as a customer and go ahead and start shopping for your Packers tickets. Again, make sure you check with Ticket King before buying any Packers tickets this year. They're going to be able to save you time and money. Again, that is theticketking.com, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access. We appreciate them sponsoring the show. So, as you guys may or may not know, what's up, Tim? Good to see you, buddy. I said there's a lot of articles that are going around right now. Everybody is just blasting out article after article, no matter what website you go to, because it is kind of the downtime, right? And everyone's getting some extra writing in. And this was a cool little series that PFF did where they're breaking down the top 32 at each position. And what I did was I tried to specialize. I tried to focus in on where the Packers fell on this list. So there's a couple positions they didn't have a single player in the top 32. But there was actually, like I said, only two positions that happened. So what we're going to do is just go position by position. And I've also got each of these players that are mentioned in the top 32 at their respective positions. I've got their contract ready to pull up on screen too, okay? So we're just going to kind of say, okay, here's where they rank across the league according to PFF. And again, this isn't PFF grade. This is simply a writer. Like this is Trevor Sikkema, I think is his name. This is his rankings, right? At least for the quarterback position. It may change by position, but thought it'd be a good talking point where we can kind of walk through and just look, okay, where do they rank and what's their contract look like? Does that make sense, fellas?
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, Trevor Sikkema is actually, I really like this guy's content. He's a PFF guy, comes on the PFF podcast with Monson and the other guy, the Big Dode. And I really like his content. So
does that ring the bell?
Say again?
Is that when he says, let's ring the bell? Is that Trevor Sikkema or is he the other one?
No.
Because I was listening to that the other PFF one today where they had the D lines ranked. We were 11th.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that was actually
that was him.
Yeah, they do like a kind of a cross. They have a few different people that do different things. They have a PFF podcast and they also have the PFF fantasy podcast. Gotcha. But they did break down the D lines, and yeah, I was surprised that they had Green Bay up there. Yeah, like you said, 11th. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, and I think a lot has to do with Devontae Wyatt. They're very big on Devontae Wyatt.
Yes.
And how they're expecting him to progress. But let's start with the quarterback position. It says PFF quarterback rankings, all 32 starters ahead of the 2024 season. So we'll just kind of run through them real quick. First of all, the notes, it talks about CJ Stroud. The second note it first mentions is Jordan Love, Trevor Lawrence are on the cusp of elite. From week 8 on, Love earned an elite 90.4 passing grade with 27 big-time throws and just 10 turnover-worthy plays. Meanwhile, Lawrence ranked in the top 5 in big-time throws, 33, but struggled with turnover-worthy plays. So that's how he got mentioned off the bat. Let's go through the rankings. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes. Number 2, Lamar Jackson. Number 3, Joe Burrow. Number 4, Josh Allen. Number 5, Justin Herbert. Number 6, Dak Prescott. Number 7, Matthew Stafford. Number 8, Aaron Rodgers. Number 9, Jalen Hurts. Number 10, CJ Stroud. And then at number 11, they have Jordan Love. So they have him in the number 11 spot. I'm going to read the quick little snippet. I want to get your all's take on it. Then we'll look at the contract. Love let it rip in 2023. He was a top 10 quarterback in total passing yards, a top 5 quarterback in big-time throws, and a top 2 quarterback in passing touchdowns during the regular season. But even more impressive than the raw season numbers was the context of the second half of the year. From week 8 on, Love earned an elite 90.4 passing grade with 27 big-time throws and just 10 turnover-worthy plays. His play was elite down the stretch and into the playoffs. He struggled with accuracy and consistent ball placement in the first half of the season. Does that sound familiar? And let's see, first half of the season, but was on fire in the second half. If how Love ended the year is closer to what we can expect of him moving forward, he will ascend this list very quickly. So he's right on the cusp of becoming what they're referring to as an elite quarterback if he can continue that step forward. So your all's take, Jordan Love, number 11 quarterback in the country, or in the league, I should say. You guys know I think I was a little more down on Love, although I'm extremely high on him. It seemed like I had a couple people when we kind of did this before that I felt like was better than Love, and you guys, I think pretty much across the board, everyone disagreed. Like Justin Herbert's one that I thought was better than Love, and it seems like everybody other than me was like, no, I think Love's better than Herbert. But what do you guys think about him being in the 11th spot here, according to PFF?
I mean, just look at that first paragraph. That's all you got to say. I mean, Love let it rip in 2023. He was top 10, he's top 5, and he's top 2 in passing touchdowns. I mean, like, what else do you really need to know about that other than the fact that, and again, I was mistaken the other day when I was on this podcast. I said his back half of the season, he had like 17 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. He had only 1 interception. So sorry about that, guys. I completely gave you some misinformation, disinformation for sure. Yeah, you don't want to do that nowadays.
Disinformation spreading.
So Amelia, what do you think? What do you think about that?
I love the title that he's under, the melting pot of starters. The dude is not a melting pot. Okay, the problem is nobody wants to say that Green Bay's top 10 in anything. I feel like we're just riding that cusp. Like we were just talking about, D-line's 11th, Jordan Love 11th. We're just not going to be able to tag him with that number. But hey, CJ Stroud can get it. That's fine. But where's the love for Mr. Love?
Trevor Lawrence. Look at Trevor Lawrence, just a knock behind him there. Yeah, he got the bag. Brock Purdy right behind him.
He's going to get Brock Purdy at 13. I think that's just crazy. To me, Brock Purdy's top 5. And I know people are going to go, shut up, Clayton. I hate the Niners too, but boys, that boy balled out, man. There's no two ways about it. And he does, and I understand the argument. He's got a ton of weapons around him. There's no denying that. He has an offense that's just absolutely loaded, right? So,
do you think that all this? Remember when we had Matt LaFleur isn't good because he has Rodgers, and Rodgers isn't good because he has this and that. It's like, is this an excuse for Brock Purdy though? Because like he have weapons. He has the best wide receiver, arguably, in the game. The top, I would say, the best 2 wide receiver grouping in the game. He has, bar none, the best running back in the game. He has a really good defensive line. He has a really great linebacker group. Number 1 tight end ish, and he also has, a defense that year in and year out is going to help him, throughout that struggle. So Brock, he does have small hands, so there is that. Thank you, Afham, always being the.
I got to give him one of these. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, bro? Really? We need Shannon Sharp's voiceover. We'll just go, really, bro? You know what I'm saying?
But honestly, Clayton, I mean, you're right that they had Trey Lance. It didn't work. So it's not just everybody around him. The dude has made it work with them, but they do have elite skilled players, which obviously helps them. And they have the best fullback in the game as well. We can't forget about Juszczyk. So it's like they got talent all over, but at some point they're not going to be able to hold it all together. Give us a couple of years while our young talent goes up.
Randomly good question from Eric. Surprisingly, he says, "Put Purdy on the Commanders. Do you think he performs?"
Listen to me, guys. Put Tom Brady on the Commanders and tell me if he performs. Like that place is in shambles. Yeah. I'm sorry, there's no one going to convince me that even Tom Brady could go into Washington and just turn that thing around. People talk about how he left New England and he did it somewhere else. He went to a top 3 offense in the league.
Bruce
Right
Arians.
into that in Tampa, and they said, "All right, run what you want to run." Like you couldn't pick a better situation for him. I understand what you're saying, Eric, but at the same time, man, it's I don't think Jesus could win in Washington, to be quite honest. There you go. Clayton's still in my thunder. My apologies. Love the hot dog, by the way, man. Great. Never know what you're gonna get from old Eric. But so with that being said, let's hit on real quick the contract for Jordan Love, all right? Because we're talking about him being, borderline top 10, and what does he do this year? What's his cap hit? That type of thing. Now, obviously, you got a couple voidable years there towards the bottom, but in 2024, his cap hit is $12.7 million. Now, it's pretty much fully guaranteed for the most part. The dead cap is 12.5. Not that you would look to cut Jordan anyway, but it is worth mentioning. Now, there is a couple voidable years, like we mentioned, in 2025 of 5.2, then 1.7 in 2026. And I think there's less than $1 million after that. So if you were to not extend him, you would still have a cap hit next year of $5.2 million. Although we all know they're going to extend him or at least franchise him. God forbid it comes to that point. So I just want to point that out. You got a guy who's stepping into that elite status, right? And we had a great lengthy conversation last night about Jordan Love and whether or not he's a top 10 quarterback or even a top 5 quarterback. And you can see the money that we're paying him is just, it's unbelievable. $12.7 million against the cap is wild. Now, some people go, yeah, Clayton, but they're getting ready to sign a new contract. What's that going to look like? Here's Trevor Lawrence's deal. All right. And let's just kind of look at how the cap hit changes. So in 2024, his cap hit is $15 million. Next year, it's $17 million. So the first year that you have the new contract kind of taking effect is in 2026, and it's only a $24 million cap hit. Now, that's not to say that Jordan Love his contract's going to be structured exactly the same. Please don't take us the wrong way. But I'm simply saying that from year 1 to year 2 of the new deal, which would be 2025 and 2026 for Jordan Love, you're looking at somewhere between $24 and $35 million in cap hit, which we've been pretty vocal about all year. Now, if you take that with the money the cap hit that's already on the books with that voidable year at $5.2 million, now you're looking at, if he is $25 million against the cap at Trevor Lawrence's number, $24 million, I should say, you tack on that extra 5, he's going to be closer to $30 million cap hit for 2025. Just wanted to point that out, that I think it's worth mentioning. But as far as on the books this year, Jordan Love is well worth the money. I mean, that Goody, again, I've been very vocal. I feel like Jordan did the Packers a huge favor by signing that little 2-year extension that allowed them to see what he was. Now, there's a ton of escalators that are not on this screen grab that he was able to hit, and I'm sure he's able to hit this year statistically and wins and making the playoffs and all that good stuff. But just on the surface, just a really, really good cap hit. Emilio, we always talk about percentage of the cap, man. 5%. Yeah. That's wild, dude.
And the only thing I was thinking about was for his cap hit, if it was at Trevor's 24, wouldn't he be at 19 roughly million to get him to the 24 for next year? Or are you saying he'd be 24 for next year? Because aren't we adding in that cap hit as well?
To me, I would add in that cap hit after the fact. So
Gotcha.
What I would say is being the first year of his new deal. Now, you got to take into consideration, too, it's a little bit different the way Trevor Lawrence's contract's extended because, we're in a final year of Jordan's contract, and we got to see how that's going to be structured, front-loaded, back-loaded. But What I'm saying on the surface is $24 million is without that voidable year, okay? And you can see they actually tacked on a voidable year in 2031 for Trevor Lawrence, and you can see the cap hit there is $21 million. So they put some down the road there with some of that guarantees. So again, it's still way too early to go, here's what we think the cap hit will be. I just like to, in real time, go, okay, here's what's happening across the league. It kind of gives you just a foundational look at this is what we
and look at where Trevor's met. I mean, I know obviously the number's a little high at the 78 million cap hit, but his percentage of cap in 29 is 21%. So that's not terrible. I mean, we've held Aaron Rodgers around 15 to 20%. I mean, I think his whole career once we started paying him big money. So I mean that's handleable by a pro organization.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, just wanted to kind of hit on that and give everybody a little viewpoint on it. That's how his contract lies. Let's go to the chat here real quick. We had a couple here. CJN said, anyone else see the PFF ranking of the Green Bay Packer wide receivers? Like I said, we've got the top 32 of each position. No Packers made the top 32 of wide receivers in the league. So I'm not sure if that's what you were talking about, if you're talking about a positional ranking as a group unit. We talked about that. It seemed like a few episodes ago, but everything's just kind of a blur at this point. We'll make sure we check that out. Paulie J says, what's up, Packer Nation? Smash that like button for Clayton. Yeah, we greatly appreciate it. We got a bunch of people in here. I think we got a ton of people watching. If you guys would just take a quick second, hit that like button for us. It helps more than you know. If you like this kind of content, feel free to sub to the channel too. We'd love to have you on board. And we try to go live daily, and everything's gonna amp up as we get closer to training camp as well. So we appreciate y'all making us a part of your evening. All right, so moving on to the next position. This will be running back. This is where it gets kind of fun because obviously we just signed Josh Jacobs. So let's look at the top 32 ahead of the 2024 NFL season as far as running back. All right, let's just go down the list here. Number 1, Christian McCaffrey. We were just talking about Brock Purdy, right? And I know Christian McCaffrey being a running back, it's not technically a target at wide receiver, but the stuff he can do out of the backfield, you can flex him out. You can do a little T flex. You can go T boundary. Also just the threat of him getting the football in the backfield, the threat of him running screen passes, it takes a lot of pressure off the quarterback. So I think Eric Sutherland made a great point with what they're doing in San Francisco for sure. But number 2, Derrick Henry. Number 3, Jonathan Taylor. By the way, Derrick Henry in Baltimore now. Number 3, Jonathan Taylor with the Colts. Number 4, Nick Chubb, Cleveland Browns. Number 5, Bijan Robinson, Atlanta Falcons. Remember everybody making fun of the Falcons for taking him in the first round? Yeah. Bro, he is a difference maker. You don't believe me? Go back and watch him just cut up the Packers.
They also made fun of the Lions for taking Gibbs, which we can still say that's maybe iffy, but we'll see.
Yeah. Number 6, Saquon Barkley, now with the Philadelphia Eagles. You talking about a cat that's going to be running hard against that division rival Giants.
Do you see what their GM said? I think it was.
I watched the first episode of Hard Knocks offseason, which is unbelievable, where they're following the Giants through the offseason, this previous offseason. What did you hear him say?
All I saw was a picture online. I think it was, you're not gonna have a $40 million quarterback hand off to a $12 million running back, roughly.
Yeah.
So I just was wondering if you had seen that because I get it, but
he was in the room with I think it was his assistant coaches.
Yeah.
And like the coaching staff, or at least some of the scouts and everything. And it might have been his VP of player personnel, but basically they were kind of pushing back on him. And I got a pterodactyl in here. They were basically pushing back on him because he was like, hey, we should let him test the market. And he said, listen, we're paying a quarterback $40 million.
Right.
We need to get an offensive line to protect them. Are we going to pay I'm not interested in paying a quarterback $40 million to hand off to a $12 million back. I kind of agree with that if that's how you're going to build your roster. But at the same time, I think we would all agree on this podcast, as of right now, Daniel Jones is not the guy. So the real mistake was, thinking Daniel Jones was the guy.
Right.
But Emilio, if you've got HBO Max, I think it's just called Max now, bro, go watch that first episode. It's going to be good. Now, I hate that they're releasing one episode a week or whatever it is. That drives me crazy. I was ready to binge watch it today on the bike, and I got pissed when it said, I was like, why ain't the second episode playing? I clicked, it was like one episode. I was like,
I'll go check it out.
Yeah, it's really good. Just cool. I find myself just gawking at the offices, going, man, what's their offices look like? What do they got? You know what I mean? I'm just a weirdo like that. But anyway, Saquon Barkley to the Eagles. Number 7, Breece Hall to the Jets, or with the Jets. Number 8, Aaron Jones, Minnesota Vikings. Wow. Can I get a boo for that, boys? Boo. Number 9, Jahmyr Gibbs with the Detroit Lions.
Boo.
Number 10, Josh Jacobs. It says Jacobs led the league in rushing in 2022, but fell back to earth a bit in 2023. His 805 rushing yards were 25th among running backs, with his 3.5 yards per carry placed 53rd out of 63 running backs. But Jacobs' talent is evident. He still racked up 1,101 scrimmage yards, crossing four figures for the fifth time in his career, and scored 6 rushing touchdowns. But 2023 wasn't the best showcase of his talent. That could come this year in Green Bay behind an excellent offensive line. Obviously, too, Jordan Love with these young weapons. That's what's really going to lighten up that box for our boy Josh Jacobs. How do we feel about him here in this ranking, being the 10th best running back in the league, Phyllis?
I gotta say, it's weird to me. I look at everything, as I always say, through a fantasy football lens, and the amount of hate that's going on Josh Jacobs, saying that he is already that he was a flash in the pan type running back, that he's already hit his peak and that he's on the descent. Like, dude, this guy was the best running back we had ever seen in the year of 2022? And the fact that he just slightly kind of took a little bit of a fall off. He also was one of the best backs you ever seen at was it Alabama? I mean, the guy was just an absolute freak. He's shown that he can compete against the top talent. He has like a great cutback ability. The guy is actually showed that I think that he's maybe cut a little bit of weight, that he'll be a little more nimble. And what he has actually said that he has lacked in all of his other seasons is the fact that they didn't utilize him in the pass game. And he now says, hey, Jordan Love is the reason I came here. Jordan Love, I think, is going to be a future Hall of Fame quarterback. He says Jordan Love is going to actually pass me the ball. I see Josh Jacobs being an absolute freak in the passing game, and we're not even talking about the running game. I think that he's going to be an Aaron Jones-esque type back, but can also take 20 to 25 carries, whereas Aaron Jones is getting 10 to 15. So,
yeah. I love when people sleep on us. That's what I love, man. So let them keep sleeping. Coach Lynn said we better be top 5 at running back. I know Coach Lynn's pissed right now.
I'm telling you, they don't want to speak above 10 for the Packers until the season starts. No one wants to take that jump. It's unbelievable.
What do you think, Emilio? With number 10, where would you put him at? Do you think that's disrespectful? How do you feel, man?
No, I mean, I feel like if he's already been the best running back in the league and we got Bijan and everybody else ahead of him that have had one season, we're kind of pulling at straws there. We're projecting more than anything, right? Bijan's a great running back, but Jacobs has done it. So yeah, obviously last year wasn't exactly what he was looking for, but I'm excited for him to run behind our offensive line now. And also what I've been picking up is that the Jaguars are low key kind of right next to us. Jaguars and Texans, I feel like we need to kind of keep an eye on, just because they're one in the AFC, but two, their team is kind of around the same, overall, roughly. They got the same ideas, sort of tendencies. So I think that would be kind of cool just to keep an eye on during the season.
Definitely. Eric Sutherland said he played uninspired with the Raiders last year. That team stunk and he wasn't happy. Also, they were able to load the box on him all year long.
Right.
They had like Aiden O'Connell and
Gardner Minshew.
Uncle Rico, Gardner Minshew. Everybody was out there trying to quarterback. So, yeah. I was going to see if there was any other Packers. I'll just scroll real quick. I don't think there was, and I'm not saying there should have been. If I remember correctly, Josh Jacobs was the only one that made the top 32. So, yeah, there you go. All right, so there is your running back. Now, when we mention him being in that number 10 spot, let's look at his contract and how it lays out, him being Josh Jacobs, okay? So his cap hit for 2024 is only $5.3 million. His cap hit in 2025 is 11.3. Cap hit in 2026 is 14.6. Cap hit in 2027 is 16.6. Now, when you look at the overall contract, you think, man, that's a lot of money, dude. That's a lot of money to pay a guy. But what you notice is the total guarantee is $12.5 million. So you got to kind of look at it like it's a 1 year, $12.5 million deal, and you can get out of it, after that. Now, the way it's going to work is that they've got it spread out in the structure of the contract. So you got a potential out in 2025, 1 year, $14.8 million, and you got $9.3 million in dead cap. So essentially in 2025, if you want to walk away, you're going to eat $9.3 million in dead cap, but you're also going to free up roughly $2 million. If you wait and do it in 2026, let's say he just completely busts out, and in a bad way, by the way. And 2023 is the real Josh Jacobs, not 2022. And prior to that, if that's the case, when you get to 2026, you want to cut bait. You've only got 6.2 in dead cap, and you had him 14.6 against the cap. So you're going to save a lot more money there. Obviously, it'd be what, $8 million, if I'm looking at that correctly, that you would save. So you'd be able to shave $8 million off of your cap hit, although you're absorbing a $6.2 million dead cap. Let's say you get to 2027, and that's when you decide, hey, we're moving on. Only a $3.1 million cap hit. So it's very front loaded in that regard, the way this contract lines up. So if we are indeed getting a top 10 running back at $5.3 million in cap hit this year, only 2% of the cap, that's a huge, huge win there, in my opinion, fellas. What do y'all think?
That's a deal, especially at his age. Look at on top left there, 26 and 150 days, right? The dude is still young. We would have been looking at 30 at Aaron Jones' contract that we would be looking at right now instead of Josh Jacobs if we didn't pick him up. So I really don't think it's a bad setup. They got the numbers lined up right, and I like that we got the heavy amount of the salary kind of taken care of at the beginning with the dead cap, and then we can kind of work our way out of it from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. All right, Jacob, you got anything to add to that, man? What do you think about the cap hit? Do you like how this is structured?
I mean, yeah, I do. It's just, it's always hard to pay running backs, especially this, you know what I mean? And this time of year. So, and you guys know that I was on record saying that I don't like the way they handled the Aaron Jones situation. It just, if we could swap these guys out, but that being said, I really do think, as much as I love AJ, I love you, Aaron Jones, not AJ Dillon, which I love both. But just Josh Jacobs is just a better running back if you need a battering ram kind of all down situational type running back. He just is. And the fact, again, that I'll reiterate is that he wants to have the ball thrown to him. He wants to do those swing routes, those out routes, those running back, what do you call those? The wheel routes, that kind of stuff. So it's like he has actually said that, like, they didn't utilize me enough in Oakland / LA, whatever you want to call it now. So I do think that there is still a lot of tread left on those tires, and I think that this guy could probably make us, we look at that running back room in Green Bay, and with Marshawn Lloyd, with AJ Dillon, with him being the battering ram, I think we have a really well-versed group there, and I think that if there's any place that he could resurge his career, I think it'd be Green Bay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that the fact that Jordan played so well and these young targets that he's got is going to draw some attention, especially if Christian Watson's hammy is truly fixed. And another thing, too, if you start showing 12 personnel and you're flexing both tight ends out and you come out in kind of an empty set, or at least a semi-gun empty set, teams are going to see that when they're watching their 4-game saturation, trying to scout you coming up on their schedule. And they're going to go, okay, we got to treat these tight ends. We got to treat it at least as if one of them is a wide receiver, especially if Luke Musgrave can break out. And we're going to talk tight ends next. If that's the case, then what you're doing is you're going to come out and show a lot of 12 personnel. You're forcing them where they should be normally in a base defense, a base 34 or a 43. They're going to go, all right, let's treat one like a wide receiver. Let's go to 11. Next thing you know, we're bringing those guys in line, one in the Y, one in the off U, and you're just running the ball down their throat. That's really going to help Josh Jacobs. So to comment what you're saying there, Jacob, I think that the amount of weapons that the Packers have and the way they could potentially use these tight ends with Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave, I think it could make things a lot better for Jacobs. Go ahead, Amelia.
Right. No, I pulled up his PFF stats. So 2019, he was second in the league, 87-1. 2020, he was 21st at a 76-3. 21, he was 13th at a 79-5. 22, he was first at 91.6. And then last year, he was 50th at a 65. Mm-hmm. So you got 4 good years there. I don't know why we're not going to do so much.
They're literally burying this guy.
Right.
It's like that scene in Step Brothers where it's like, just let the dirt shovel over you. What are you doing? You're burying me. Stop making a scene. Like, I don't want to. And I just feel like the Josh Jacob, he's just going to do like the Undertaker. Yeah, he's going to Will Ferrell out of that freaking grave, and he's going to be like, dude, why are you all so stupid?
I would take a 76.5. You know what I'm saying? His lowest out of those 4 good years were 76.3. Highest was a 91.6. Anywhere in between there, drop them. You know,
you're waking the neighbors.
We have Mr. Larry Cano in the house earlier. Say good evening, everyone, and Smitty. Good evening, gentlemen, and Smitty. No, he didn't say that. Larry's too nice to say that, but good to see you, Larry. Thank you for swinging through, buddy. We appreciate you. Let's talk tight ends now. Y'all ready? Not those kind of tight ends, Jacob. Get your head out of the gutter. All right. So here we go. PFF tight end rankings top 32 ahead of the 2024 NFL season. Let's just walk right down the list. You've got George Kittle, number 1 with San Francisco. Number 2, you got, your Travis Kelce, a.k.a. Travis Swifty, at number 2. All right. Number 3, you got Mark Andrews from the Baltimore Ravens. Number 4, you got T.J. Hawkinson from the Minnesota Vikings. Number 5, you got Sam Laporta of the Detroit Lions. I just want to stop here for a second. And I know I'm going to catch some hate because this is a Packers podcast, but it's pretty wild that Dan Campbell used to be a tight end, correct? That was his position. He played in the league. He goes out and he drafts T.J. Hawkinson, okay? And then they end up going, you know what? We don't even need him. They trade him to Minnesota. And then they draft Sam Laporta. So they've already found 2 absolute stud tight ends since Dan Campbell's been in Detroit. You got to give credit where credit's due. That dude knows how to scout, or at least how to steer it in the right direction of scouting for a good tight end. What were you going to say, Jacob?
No, it's just that it's such a weird, I don't know what the word is, I guess, evaluation between the NFL scouts and what fantasy football looks at, because Sam Laporta right now, number 1 tight end. He's going off the board up there before Travis Kelce. And TJ Hawkinson is not even in the conversation. It's because there's the injury concern there. He has not actually practiced 1 day since he ended up having that injury. In addition to that, Mark Andrews, there's another guy behind him. I can't remember his name. I think it's Isaiah Likely. He's a massive dude, massive guy kind of thing. But the Travis Kelce thing, that's another guy. It's like, how old can he be and keep producing at the level that he is? And I don't know where the Packers tight ends are going to fall on this level here. We'll obviously see that in a minute here, but I'm telling you, man, Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave are up there with these guys. It just depends on whether or not they're going to get the targets. So when they categorize these tight ends, is like basically what they're looking at is this tight end going to get the stats that we all think that he could get in fantasy? But a tight end, really, like if he's the just the down for down kind of tight end, it doesn't matter what the fantasy stats are. It just matters if he's a good player. We have 2 unbelievably good tight ends going into this year.
And I just want to mention, technically, if you're going off PFF overall, the 5th overall tight end is Mercedes Lewis.
Oh,
77-1. And
how many snaps?
330. They're throwing shade on our boy Big Dog, and I just wanted to put it out there. We don't have to, but I'm just saying.
No, I appreciate that.
Speaking of throwing shade, AFAM says Eric gets butterflies when he listens to Taylor Swift.
Too much Taylor Swift.
Eric does, evidently. I don't know. So, Eric's such a good sport. He always laughs at AFAM's just absolute assault on him here in the chat. So, number 4, T.J. Hawkinson of the Vikings. Number 5, Sam Laporta of the Lions. Number 6, Dallas Goedert from the Eagles. Number 7, Kyle Pitts from the Falcons. Number 8, Trey McBride from the Cardinals. Number 9, David Njoku from the Cleveland Browns. Number 10, Evan Ingram from the Jaguars. Number 11, Cole Kmet from the Bears. Number 12, Jake Ferguson for the Cowboys. 13, Dalton Kincaid from the Bills. 14, Brock Bowers with the Raiders. Obviously, they're projecting that because he's a rookie this year. Number 15, Pat Freiermuth for the Pittsburgh Steelers. 16, Dalton Schultz from the Texans. 17, Darren Waller from the Giants. I thought he retired.
He retired and he divorced his wife, and he's not.
Hey, why we got to talk about the divorce, man? What the heck?
She was Kelsey.
Did he drop
divorced. He dropped a really cool, cool rap album. It didn't do well on the charts. Surprisingly, it's weird.
All right, Number 18, Hunter Henry from the Patriots. 19, Gerald Everett from the Bears. 20, Dawson Knox from the Bills. 21, Tyler Conklin from the Jets. 22, from the Titans. Number 23, Luke Musgrave from the Green Bay Packers. So they've got Luke Musgrave as the 23rd best tight end in the league. It says the Packers rookie had a solid first year, but was held back by injuries toward the end of the year. His 1.41 yards per route run and 69.6 grades show potential for the second-round players. So how do we feel about Musgrave being in the 23 spot? I'm going to scroll down here. I don't think Tucker Kraft made the top 32. He did not. But I was kind of surprised that Musgrave cracked in. I thought this would be a position where they would not put him in there. What the hell's wrong with you guys? What is your problem?
Just could you pronounce the player from the
Titans? Yeah, number 22 is Tennessee Titans. All right.
Okay.
Go ahead, right. Jacob. Let's hear you say it, sir. I need to hear this.
No, I defer.
Big Azimi Okonkwo.
Yeah, that's actually.
Don't you cuss on this pod? Don't you dare cuss on this pod.
Emilio. It's because he's got that ethnic tongue. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Go ahead, Jake. What do you think about Musgrave at 23? Is that fair? Is that low? Is that high?
Yes, I think it's fair. I think that, actually, honestly, no, it's not fair. I think that he will be definitely top 12. That's my thought, especially because of the fact that Tucker Kraft, Lung Dart, Chuck Norris, Tucker Kraft, my dog of all dogs. I love the guy. Mm-hmm. He's battling a pec injury, which, as you guys know, you can't make the club in the tub. That's our motto all the time. I believe that he came on strong at the back half of the year, but that was only because Mr. Luke Musgrave had a little bit of a late ending injury, and I think that he will. We watched it, man. We watched was it Matt LaFleur, one of those games where he caught that long bomb, and they're like, Musgrave did on his feet, woo! Like, and the whole team just absolutely let it go. Like he's like a baby giraffe. He's finding his legs, man. He's getting it, and once he gets that connected, man, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. I really do believe that we have two great tight ends there, ready to go for the Green Bay Packers in 2024. 2024 season, and I think that, like I said, Tucker may take a little bit, so it'll be nice to have Musgrave kind of lean into that and let him kind of, who I would ask you guys, who would be the third or fourth? Are you thinking it's Sift and Tyler or Sims? Right?
I personally think it's Sims' job to lose.
Same.
Tyler Davis has got to come back from the injury, and he's got to kind of prove himself, although the special teams was strong. But
right. His performance on special teams was big. Coming back from that injury is going to be tough for Davis, I think. I definitely think it's Sims' spot, and then we'll go from there. But
Musgrave stayed on his feet.
Go ahead.
I didn't even know we had that.
I didn't know we had that either.
Just put, man, when you got a NASA computer, boys, this is good. This is good.
That's perfect. Well, all I was going to say was Luke Musgrave really did have a good year. His overall was a 68-1. He had a 69-6 in receiving, a 45-7 in off or pass blocking, and then a 59-3 in run blocking. Honestly, his run blocking is pretty good. We'll work on a couple pass blocking plays, and that dude would be, top 15. He's ready to break out. And some of the other guys that they were mentioning were just like up and down on this list. Like there was no rhyme or reason. They're projecting, they got Brock Bowers on there. So maybe they could have projected that Luke Musgrave was going to break out because he stayed on his feet now. So we can't get any credit for that. That's all right.
Emilio's taking names tonight. I love it too. So when you look at Luke Musgrave's contract, this is what's really exciting. Let's say he is truly the 23rd best tight end in the league. Look at his cap hit. 1.9 million this year. Next year it jumps to 2.3 million. 2026, 2.6 million. Just Goody absolutely cooking there. And again, you guys know I've been pretty vocal. I personally think when we came out of the draft, I would have said Luke Musgrave is better than Tucker Kraft. Okay. After the season, I feel like Tucker Kraft is better than Luke Musgrave. And again, it would benefit me more with my draft coverage to say, I got it right with Musgrave. I got it wrong. I think Tucker Kraft's a better tight end. But man, like Tucker said in that article the other day, we don't play over or under each other. We're right there beside each other. And yeah, I just really, I don't know, man. I'm excited about that tight end. They're going to grow. Go ahead, Jacob. What's going on? Share with the class here, sir.
No, I am just I'm good, man. I actually said I don't want to go ahead and toot my own horn or whatever, but I was a Tucker Kraft fan. That was one of my guys. And honestly, Musgrave was a guy that I did not think was on my radar. I thought that he was a little bit because he wasn't Oregon State, if I'm not mistaken. Wasn't he?
And Tucker Kraft?
Musgrave. No.
Musgrave was Oregon State.
Tuck was the South. He's a rabbit.
I love how everybody's got their different pronunciation. You say Oregon, and I go Oregon. Just Oregon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. I just thought that they both kind of. You remember when we had Bubba Franks? Remember when we had guys where it was like, yeah, that's a tight end. Like that guy just like he just seems like he's works in that position. Do you guys remember Jeremy Shockey? Do you remember how absolutely thunder punching that dude was? Like to the point where he would look for contact. I think Tucker Kraft is more of that type of tight end. And I think that Musgrave is more of like the who am I thinking of, Emilio? Like maybe more of the
more of a Tony Gonzalez type, flexed out, bigger body, can catch the ball. But looking at Tucker Kraft's grades, 60.4 overall, 65.1 receiving, a 70.3 pass blocking. So maybe him and Musgrave can work on that with each other. He'll teach him a little pass blocking. Musgrave will teach him a little run blocking because Tucker's was actually a 48.7 there for run blocking. So we'll work on that. That's a good thing to eyeball this offseason. Clayton's over here hunting pterodactyls, and I think that Tucker Kraft would love to go hunt some pterodactyls with Clayton. I mean, right out of the side of a helicopter, we're good to go.
Right. Smitty said it best, man.
Yeah. Aaron Hernandez. No.
Don't do this, A-fam.
Stop
what
it.
What is wrong with you?
Stop, Eric. Stop.
Bro, really?
Come on.
That was the one clean comment you could have put up from A-fam in the past 10-minute chat he's had with Eric.
Exactly, man. I know this. So when you get through with A-fam and Eric Sutherland in the chat after the show, man, you definitely got to
wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
You know what I'm saying?
Especially on a Friday night like this,
Man, I'm telling you, dude. See, why, guys? Why? A-fam, you did this. This is your fault. God almighty. No.
Really,
Eric. Who did it? Stop it. All right.
It's Emilio.
So delayed, dude. You wouldn't
know how he did it. When it popped up, too, this is what I seen from Jacob. Yeah. Oh, man. All right, let's do one more position, and we're going to wrap the show, okay? There's no reason to go long. We'll pick this up in the morning. I'm going to get this pterodactyl. Oh, man, you see it on me? Bro, I'm telling you, man. I'm about to turn Clay Matthews loose.
We need to get him one of them bug shots.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go offensive tackle. Y'all good with that, boy?
Hang in there, Packer fan. I love you, brother. Please
don't hang in there, Packer fan. Go find something else to do, man. It's horrible in here. I'm just telling you right now.
I love you, brother.
All right, so let's move on to tackle real quick. All right, and again, you got to think there's – pull it together, Emilio. We're almost done. So when you talk about the tackle position, obviously, you got two starting tackles on every offense. So when you say top 32 – it might be there might be a right tackle, there may be a left tackle. Right now, we definitely put more emphasis, more value on the left tackle position. We've been very vocal about that on this show. But nonetheless, we do have a tackle that makes the list here. Let's just run down through it. It says PFF offensive tackle rankings, top 32 ahead of the 2024 NFL season. Number 1, Trent Williams, San Francisco 49ers, going right back to the Brock Purdy conversation. Just an absolute stud on his offensive line there, right? Number 2, Tristan Wirfs from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Number 3, Penei Sewell from the Detroit Lions. Number 4, Christian Darrisaw from the Minnesota Vikings.
Can I real quick interject? Christian Darrisaw, who we did last episode, we talked about how Zach Tom and our boy Rasheed Walker outperformed him by far. I shouldn't say by far, but at least by measurable numbers. So just saying.
There you go. Number 5, Jordan Mailata from the Philadelphia Eagles. Number 6, Lane Johnson from the Philadelphia Eagles. They got that. I'm telling you, man, they draft trenches. They build in the trenches on defense and on offense. and it shows. It really does. So they've got, like I said, Lane Johnson at the opposite tackle position in Philly. Number 7, Tyron Smith from the New York Jets. That'll help Aaron a lot over there, protecting his blind side, no doubt about that, if he's healthy. Number 8, Laramie Tunzel. That's our boy with the gas mask, right? Am I thinking right, boys? Wasn't Laramie Tunzel the gas mask cat?
Oh, yeah.
Look that up, Smitty. I believe he was. So him with the Houston Texans at number 8. Number 9, Rashawn Slater from the LA Chargers. Number 10, Colton Miller from the Raiders. Number 11, Andrew Thomas from the Giants. Number 12, Terran Armstead from the Dolphins. Number 13, Taylor Moton from the Carolina Panthers. 14, Taylor Decker from the Lions. Lions got studs on the offensive line. Braden Smith, number 15 of the Colts. Number 16 is Bernhard Raymond from the Indianapolis Colts. And then number 17, we got our very own Zach Tom from the Green Bay Packers. So while he had to play at 4 different positions along the offensive line as a rookie in 2022, Tom's performance was still very promising. However, he improved when he got the chance to play right tackle exclusively in 2023. In fact, his overall grade of 79.7 ranked 7th among all right tackles last season, while his 81.2 run blocking grade ranked 6th among all players at the position. So obviously Zach Tom getting some love here at the tackle position for the Packers. How do we feel about Zach Tom, right tackle for Green Bay, being a number 17 spot there, fellas?
I mean, I think that's honestly, it's a little bit. I didn't think he was that that good, and I think that there's just more room for improvement for him, to be honest. And we talked about where the offensive line is going to have that rotation. Where do you guys, besides Zach Tom solidified at right tackle? Don't do it, please. Come on, I already did it, and it made me laugh.
Jason Spriggs going to be on this list. Man, I love it when just random Packer names pop up. I love it.
So basically, what we have to decide here is whether or not who's going to play left or right guard. Right? Is that kind of what we're at? Zach Tom is the right tackle. We're pretty much deciding whether or not Elton Jenkins is going to play left guard, or Morgan, or whoever insert here, whether it be Sean Ryan or whatever, it's going to play right guard.
If everyone's healthy, I think the offensive line is pretty much set. I think it's Rasheed Walker, Elton Jenkins, Josh Myers, Zach Tom at right tackle, and right guard is an open competition between Jordan Morgan, Sean Ryan, Jacob Monk, those 3 guys.
Let's go Monk, bro. I want Monk.
Yeah, I personally want Jordan Morgan to bust into the lineup, because I don't want, and listen, I know it's not a huge percentage of the cap, him being a first-round pick, but still, it's a much larger percentage of the cap than the other guys. I just want to see that money on the field. Now, if he's not the better player, put Jacob Monk out there if he's better, right? But, I think Jacob Monk, from what I've heard, he's really impressed people, though. But, Amelia, what do you think about Zach Tom at number 17, bro?
I think it's a great spot for him. Looking at the overalls on PFF, he was actually ranked 15th overall with a 79.7, 72.3 pass, and 81.2 run blocking. But ahead of him are 2 Detroit Lions, 2 Eagles, 2 Colts, a Vikings, Bengals. So he's a good tackle. You know what I mean? Like they're finally going to actually give him a little bit of respect, but. Again, a young player that has skill, ready to grow with this team, protecting Jordan Love's front side. I'm fine with that. We just got to lock down the blind side protection, put that little wall up around Jay Love, and let him go to town.
Definitely. M. Smitty in the chat, I just wanted to point this out. I just noticed his profile pic is the Meat Missile Award pick.
Wow. No.
Yeah. He said, yes, Tunzel was the one with the Bong gas mask. So there you go. All right, so I'm just going to, before we scroll down, let's do this real quick. Again, Zach Tom, the 17th ranked tackle in the entire league. Again, that's left tackles and right tackles. His contract is an absolutely beautiful thing. His cap hit for 2024, $1.1 million.
Wow.
That is wild. 2025, it only jumps to $1.2 million. That's what happens when you hit on those late round picks right there.
0.4%. 0.4% of the cap.
0.4. That's crazy.
That's like Jacob walking into Ross and just rolling the whole damn rack outside, putting it in his Volvo. You know what I'm saying?
I'd look so good for so many years if I had that money. Walking into Ross, bro, I'd have all the fashions from the last.
Leaves him a sticky note, an IOU sticky note, and walks out with the car.
This is a big one. We're gonna hold on to that.
Under pressure.
All right. So there you go. There's where Zach Tom lands. Now let's do this. Let's just kind of scroll through this list. I'm not going to read them all off. You guys help me.
Amelia, are you crying?
I want to see if Rasheed Walker makes
that. Got me. This is a big one. You're going to want to hold on to.
You do what? Are you speaking?
No, in the suitcase.
This one's for a car. That's a big one. You're going to hold on to that one.
Yeah. Oh.
These are better than
see this.
These are IOUs.
250,000. Might want to hang on to that one. God, it's such a good movie, man. All right, so yeah, that is all the that's the only tackle that landed on the list. So we're at the 49-minute mark. We're going to wrap up there, and we're going to pick back up with offensive guard tomorrow. Okay, does that sound good with everybody? We good with that?
Good to me.
All right, so let me just make sure I got this right here. Yeah, all right, cool. So I will go ahead and kind of clip everything, have it ready for tomorrow. We'll pick up at guard. And now some people are going, you didn't mention wide receiver. We had no wide receivers ranked in the top 32. Now some people will go, that's absolutely crazy. According to PFF's grades, and this is where people go, oh, man, they're contradicting themselves. Understand there's a difference between the grades and personal opinion of the writers at PFF, okay? So many people have a hard time, like, understanding that. But this is like, for instance, the guards. When we hit on the guards, this article was written by Thomas Valentine, okay? So just understand this is how he ranks the guards. And some people may or may not like that. I personally like it when you get multiple people giving their opinion. That way it's not just one person, okay, we see him as the grand poobah of ranking, positions, right? So, but with that being said, there were no Packer wide receivers in the top 32. I'm not overly upset about that because, like I've said before, it kind of feels like we've got a whole wide receiver room full of number twos with potentially two that could break out as number ones. So yeah. Go ahead, Jeff.
I always laugh at the people that really hate on PFF. And I also laugh at the people that really put a lot of emphasis to PFF because it's just a metric. Like we've talked about, it's one measure of a tool evaluating a thing. But I really do enjoy listening to PFF's podcast because they actually highlight sometimes we're like, yeah, Sam Monson, he's got this weird accent. I can't quite place it, but he's got this weird thing. And he'll be like, I can't quite know where these people are coming from. And they'll get a bunch of hate. Yeah, they'll get a bunch of hate from a guy, and they don't quite understand why. And it's like I do listen to their podcast, and they actually acknowledge the fact that like, hey, I know we're getting a lot of hate. There's nothing really that we. It's not the fact that we're watching these guys placing. They have a metric that they use. They have a grading system that they use, and that's why you line that up with SIS. That's why you line it up with your own vision watching a freaking game. That's why you line it up with stats with the ESPN's type of stuff. Like to me, if you scoff at more information, that makes you look like an idiot. You know what I mean? Like you need to have as much information coming in as you can. That's what I love about this podcast network. That's what I love about Ryan. Ryan takes in every single kind of information he can. Granted, he's going to be probably pessimistic, but it's going to be as much of a conglomerate, of that information that he can get. And I think that that's what you should look for when you're looking for information, whether it be podcast or just general knowledge. Look for differing opinions and then see what the average of that is. And you'll probably find what the truth is. And I think that we've done a good job. PFF does a good job. SIS 32 team, or 33rd team. Mm-hmm. I think that if you look at all those, as a conglomerate, you look at what they produce there. It's like, yeah, okay, that's what it is. And that being said, this Green Bay Packer team, man, I really do think that we have a couple positions where people just aren't expecting us to be that good, and we are going to be that good. I really do think that.
And I know what you're saying with that point, Jacob. Listening to that today, that they were like, we had the stat of a sack. But then we were also trying to get better, trying to look at more of a true number, like how Clayton likes the on target versus catchable.
Yep.
So you want a stat that you like that you can look at. They got what was pressure percentage pressure percentage is a more true evaluation of the effect on a defense per play sort of thing. So that's it. I mean, it could be something where you make your own Excel sheet and you draw something up because you want to look at the numbers that way, right? But I mean, it's tough, right? Looking at their numbers, we have 3 receivers in the top 50 with overall grades. I don't know if that has snap counts or anything, but just right off the wide receiver grouping. But there's nothing that they project that they see. So again, we're fine with being the if we can still have a couple of dark horses in there, no one knows how to attack them. That's fine. We were like that before. I think we can open that again.
I was just gonna say, Amelia, like it's better to be the underdog, right? Like, go ahead, think that we don't have 5 wide. Right. Don't think that we have 7 wide receivers on any given point that can absolutely burn you. Go ahead.
Yeah, because you know the first write up they're gonna do next year in the offseason. Yeah. Well, looking at the numbers from last year, we should have seen this come in with their projection and being at 70s already. I don't know why we didn't think this.
Yep, that's absolutely. You got to look at the projection. You got to look at where do we think they're going to, not where have they been, right? And that's exactly how coaches look at it. But I don't know, man. There's a number of different things you guys hit on there. There was something I was going to hit on, and I've already lost it. It's a good conversation, though. This was a lot of fun, man. We need to do more of these, and we're going to continue to do more of these. Go ahead, Amelia.
Laughing, Amelia.
Nothing, dude.
You getting butchered in there?
Nothing. Anyway, Clayton, did you listen to the install with Greg Cosell?
I did not. What was it?
He was talking about the Jets. Basically, was saying like Rodgers is still an elite quarterback. There's nothing to think that he's not going to be elite. Basic quarterback or if you look at all quarterback sets, 2 things it boils down to, all your different groupings, decisions and accuracy, point blank period. And Rodgers still has that. So it was cool. I don't know if they're going to go through all of the teams or they're just going through AFC, but I like just hearing different breakdowns of how they're looking, what that team's going to do, the defense they were talking about Saleh, but then again, that defensive coordinator doesn't get the love, man, for what he's done with that team. So it's cool to just keep up with everybody else, kind of see what's going on and get a different view. Yeah,
and I know what I was going to say too. Like we were talking about people who criticize PFF and this and that. I heard someone the other day, and I'm gonna keep his name. He's going to remain nameless, I should say. But someone said, you got people that watch tape and they don't even know what they're watching. And I'm like, I have never seen you break down tape one time. Not one time have you put a single video out where you're breaking down tape. How convenient that you're just saying people don't know what they're watching. But yeah, okay, tell us, smart guy. Tell us what we're watching.
That's an easy throwaway comment, isn't it, Killing? Where they can just be like, oh, you don't even know what you're doing. And then somebody asks, I feel like Michael Scott be like, what are you doing? He goes,
My favorite, man, was literally like when I was breaking down the defense 2 years ago in this Joe Barry defense and going, look, here, to the best of our knowledge, here was the play call. The guy did not execute his assignment, right? And it was literally like, hey, listen, it's here's the set. It's a nickel 2-4-5. They're playing cover 3 zone match. And you could tell when the 2 goes vertical, it turns the man, and he did not match the 2. And we know that because the safety drive, either the safety screwed up or the backer screwed up that was on the 2. It has nothing to do with the defensive coordinator. And literally the guy responded and said, that's just word salad. What the hell? What? Like, I just explained to you step by step what the play was. And you say it's just word salad. That's the way of saying I don't have a damn clue what you're saying, and I'm just going to make something up here. So that just blows me away.
It reminds me of it's like when you ask a pundit or like a Packers like whatever fan, it's like write a book about what you do, and then they ask Michael Scott write a book about being a businessman. He goes, Chapter 1, the businessman, and then he trails off. That's it. That's all he's got. He thinks he can write the book, and then once they were like, all right, write it, and he goes,
right.
and again, like the thing that gets me is these people are critical of other people that they supposedly don't even watch. And it's like, why? Go do your thing, bro. Go do your thing. You go break the tape down. Show us how it's done, right? And they wasn't specifically talking about us. It's just it goes back to kind of like Peter. I'll just say the name, Peter Bukowski. right? Peter Bukowski, when I first got on Twitter, he was going after a fan and made a comment and said, I do this for a living. We are not the same. And I'm like, boy, I would love to have 2.5 minutes, just 2.5 minutes, me and you on a live stream breaking down tape. I will show the entire world just how ignorant you are, man. But yeah, you got it, number one Packer fan. And I don't call him. I call him by his real name. I get it as a funny joke, but I'm just saying, I about said, how dare you? I got to play the clip on myself here.
How dare you?
Go after a fan and be like, you don't know what you're talking about, little person. Sit down, buddy. You don't know what you're talking about. All you got to do is watch his show and listen to it, and you're like, this dude, he's pretending like he understands football, and he's dogging other people, and it's just this. All right, look, I'm going to say this, and now I'm just going to drift off into the sunset, and not even back up my answer.
Right, here's my best impression of all time. This is Peter Bukowski. The Packers will either win or they won't, and either they will climb over the defeat or they won't. That'll be their choice. But if the Packers can, then they can't. What the f- did you just say, dude? You didn't say anything. You just literally posed questions.
To the top. Oh, yeah.
Again, I didn't want to go down this road. I'm just saying that stuff drives me insane. And the comment that I made about someone recently who said something, that wasn't actually him. I'm just, again, I've seen the name come up in the comment section, and I know it applies there as well. Just let people fan how they want to fan. And you go break like that, Amelia. You go break down the tape.
Yeah, no. All I was going to add to that earlier, number one, and Eric were just saying, they don't care about AR or the Jets, and really, I don't either. I'm just saying, I just like hearing Greg Cosell's breakdown of the team after viewing those players because, dude, he's got what twice triple my age or something. Like I need to learn from him. That's where I get notes from.
Yeah, and me personally, I'm still following Aaron because it's one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the game. Sorry. And again, last year it was, man, I hope the Jets lose every game because we have a draft pick tied to it, right? This year that's not the case, and I think it's hilarious how I've said this before, and we'll wrap up here. People started hating Aaron right around the time that the whole COVID fiasco happened. Period. Case closed. You don't believe me? Anyone who hates on him, go to their Twitter page. It's real simple. Click on their Twitter account, search in the top of the bar, their @ and type in Aaron Rodgers, and it will conveniently be listed in order of tweet dates. And you can go back. And I'm telling you, before he said he was immunized, it was all positive. After that point, it's all negative.
Right.
It's like, I'm here to talk football. I could care less if somebody got the jab.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been very vocal about this.
He said
I've been jabbed twice because my father-in-law lived with us who was basically dying of Parkinson's and dementia. So I was told by doctors that I trusted, hey, I think you should do this. All right, cool. I got like 4 different doctors that all, I won't go into too much detail, but our beliefs lined up. And I'm like, all right, this is something I got to do. Told my wife to stay home, told my mother-in-law to stay home. I'm going to go out and make money, and I'm going to get this shot, right? Now, I will say I regret it. I regret it every day. And I've got literally medical documentation going, yeah, this is why you got low blood pressure. This is the only thing that changed. These are the health issues I'm dealing with. And I'll just leave it at that. So, but again, if that's for someone, great, man. It ain't none of my business whether they want to get vaccinated 4,300 times. I don't care, right? It has nothing to do with me. But when these people try to stand on these,
right,
on their they try to, like Pat McAfee, I want to stand on my chair when he says high horsing. They get up there and try to high horse, and it's like, bro, the stats are not in your favor right now. You might want to sit down and I want to talk football. I could care less about someone else's HIPAA law,
right,
details. Yeah. So
one of the greatest throwers of a football ever, right? So that's what Greg Cosell said. I mean, I'm with that. That's the truth. That's all I grew up watching was AR-12. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I like what Smitty said. I follow Aaron for darkness retreat advice. That's another thing. He did the darkness retreat, and I was like, that is the weirdest stuff I've ever heard. Mm-hmm. I had 3 veterans that deal with PTSD reach out to me on Twitter and go, hey, I'd be willing to come on your show and talk about it. I've done it and it works. I'm like, holy cow.
Dude, you know what? They talk about how MDMA and mushroom therapy is a real thing. Like it's actually like scientifically diagnosed how it can impact your brainwaves. Like I'm not out here to call him a hippie. I'm not saying that. Do whatever it does for you. I'm just saying, you know, just quit. Like you talked about, man. Just be quiet. If you got nothing good to say, man, just shush.
The part that gets me is like, this is a 22-year-old that lives in his parents' basement, and he's trying to explain to me that he understands a veteran who's seen active duty in Iraq or Afghanistan that our crooked politicians sent over there, right? And they're trying to deal with that and prevent themselves from hurting themselves. And this 22-year-old kid who doesn't even have a job, who lives with mommy and daddy, is talking about how stupid that treatment is. That just I can't deal with that, dude.
The only reason he can say that is because of him.
Exactly. The only reason you have the freedom to say that is because that dude went over there and put his life on the line as a soldier for all of us. That's the only reason we're sitting here talking football, man. And that's what yesterday was about for me, you know. So if you are a veteran, you know, whether you've served in the past or you're currently serving right now, and you somehow landed on this stupid show, thank you for everything you've done for us.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So let's get out of here.
Look, Emilio, he's giving it right there.
Love it.
That's all we need. That shot right there.
Yeah, we need that flag and each other. That's all we need, boys. That's all we need. So
yes, sir.
Let's see here. Smitty says, as a vet with PTSD, anything which helps you deal with it should be worth exploring. Amen, buddy. Amen. Yeah. Appreciate your service, Smitty. I didn't know that about you. And isn't it funny how the ones who never talk about it are the ones, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I just awesome. So, all right. We're out of here. Appreciate you, boys. We're way over now. We were ready to wrap up at 40 minutes. And here we are we're talking about mushroom therapy and everything else. Welcome to 2024. So we'll be back tomorrow morning, though. Going to do a morning show. If everything goes as planned, we'll pick up where we left off, start with the guard position, and walk ourselves through the defensive side as well. So if you guys are available, I know Emilio won't wake up till noon. And
he won't be up.
He'll wake up at noon and eat his Fruit Loops and then lay around on the couch and watch cartoons. So it is what it is, right?
Nice coffee. Get my day going.
There you go. I know what you're putting in that coffee, too. You sent me a bottle of that. That was nice, man.
That stuff is elite. I need to get you another one.
Yeah, you forget to pay your bills when you drink that with your coffee, but you know it is. It's really nice. If you're available, Jacob, feel free to hop in, buddy. We'll be here in the morning.
I got you.
All right. Smitty wraps it up perfect. Says, "Go Pack, go, and God bless the USA." Amen, brother. Amen. All right, we're out, guys. We'll see you in the morning. Everybody have a wonderful evening. We'll hit you with this on the way out, real quick, just right here.
How dare you?
All right, for all of you hot horsers out there. So. Again, we'll be back in the morning, probably 8 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Eastern, to talk some more Packers with you guys and gals. For those of you listening on the pod, thank you for making us a part of your day. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world. And go Pack, go.